Welcome to Keep on Casting. Today's day 3 of the 2021 Swollfest Rodeo. We caught snapper yesterday. Today we're going with Damon and Lance, and we're going to try and catch a swordfish, maybe some groupers. So y'all stay tuned.
Keep on Casting is brought to you by Thibodeau Regional Medical Center. Bronco Industries, leading the field in industrial construction and fabrication. Real Outfitters, proud to be the first family-owned tackle store in Thibodeau, Louisiana.
So we ran out about 40 miles. We're going to stop and try and catch a couple of little snapper. Use those for grouper bait. So they love red snapper. See what we can do. There you go. Hooked up, hooked up. And that's a little big for mangroves.
Man, if your real addiction will be catching near the size snapper, then on ice to catch one.
Jeez. Okay, dude.
What size grouper?
Not that big. Got a little one here, boys. Perfect, perfect.
Coming in the boat.
That's what we're looking for. Ah, that's good bait. That's perfect, bro. Perfect size right there.
Oh, baby.
Legal, still good grouper bait. Just give it a little more, let him eat a little bit more. There, you'll feel him kind of when he gets heavy on there. It just kind of, the rod tip will get heavy. There you go. Perfect, perfect, good set. So we're gonna drop down for a sword. We got a rig squid, and we put a sacrificial weight on it. So the other thing we want to watch is see which way the current's going, so we know which way we're gonna drift.
Just to restart.
Okay.
Man. Before you can. Now we're down here in Grand Isle with Damon Woods and with the on ice team for Swollfest. Come up from Reckerbuck in Utopia, Texas, and for our first trip out, we're about 80 miles. Dropped the first line down, didn't take 2 minutes, and we're hooked up. Let's see what we got. Good. Hand me that gaff right there.
Guys, these aren't good to eat, so I'll take him home and take care of them for you. Oh yeah, that's good. So we got a rig squid, and this is a squid, and pretty much, Roach says there's a special way to tie them on. Pretty sure you can tie them on however you want. So rig squid, we got a sacrificial weight here. We put this on the hook, like that, and when you let it down, it goes straight down. The line doesn't get tangled because this is a heavier weight. About 20 feet up, we got another weight here. A 3 or 4 pound weight, and that's what keeps it on bottom. So you drop it down, once that big weight hits the bottom, you jig it a few times and it pops right off. Then you're down fishing, quick. Only limiting factor is how many sacrificial weights you got.
Take what you want, man.
We just hooked up 1,100 feet. Hopefully it's a swordfish. He hit a little bit, came off, I dropped it back down to the bottom and he got back on it. So we hope he pulls some drag, I don't know. He's still on it. Sometimes they swim up and you don't even know if they're on there till they get up about 800, 900 feet. Oh, dude, Jesus Christ. But he swallowed it. That's a codfish, guys. Look at that.
1,200 feet of water, real addiction charters, on ice. This is it. Well, we're going up super fast. Looks like it's going that way, huh? Nope. No.
Oh. Some one line, isn't it?
Yeah, it might have been a gear going on.
Low grafted.
What? Dude, Dominic dropped it on his head. Good job, bro.
That was it, that was.
Right on his head. That's a fish.
Look like a towel.
All right, so we tried for a grouper. We didn't catch one. Got 4 nice tiles, a bunch of snapper. Some of the tile fish are definitely the biggest tile fish I've ever seen. So we're gonna head on in. It's last day of the Swollfest. Gonna weigh in, see what prizes we won. So folks, this is Glenn Herskin. He's a professional hunter out of Texas at the Buckhorn Ranch, but his dad's been a professional hunter in Africa for 29 years, and he's got a pretty good story about I asked him his most dangerous time in Africa. It's pretty interesting.
Yeah, so been pretty fortunate in my life, short life. I'm 34 years old, and you know, lion hunts can go 2 ways. You can hunt them on bait, or you can also track them. This particular lion hunt, we tracked, and it was about a 12-mile track job. The last 4 miles were they were much different than the first few miles. The cat started circling these bushes, and eventually we came across our tracks on where the lion was. His tracks were on top of our tracks.
He knew something was going on?
Yeah, at that point he was hunting us. You know, for the first 8 miles, that cat was just hunting animals, doing his natural thing in the African bush. But once he realized something was going on behind him, that cat naturally started doing what cats do. And he started hunting us. So we come around the bush and we see where we were just standing, his tracks on top of ours. So our professional PH pulled us all together as a group. We had a short talk. He said, nobody spread out, everybody tight. There was two cameramen on the hunt. They were directly right behind me. We'd come around this bush shortly after we realized this cat's hunting us. And fortunately, the tracker spotted the lion, and typically it's our job to spot the lion prior to the tracker. Well, at this point in time, this lion was hunting us. A lot of times a lion will growl once he realizes a human is approaching him. And then you approach that bush until you can see hide, and you take the shot that's presented. This particular situation was totally different. This was like walking up on a rattlesnake that didn't rattle. He was definitely hunting us. He was quartered to us when we come around this bush. Fortunately, the tracker spotted him eight steps in front of us. And that's when the double rifles came up, and 2 rounds went into his shoulder, and he came up about 6 feet in the air, came back down. We put another 2 rounds back in him. And at that point, it was a moment of silence after that. And the PH definitely educated myself there that, you know, one of us definitely was lucky at that particular moment in that lion hunt, because that sucker, a lion can pounce, you know, 15, 20 feet just at a standstill position. And this guy was flat on the ground, head on the ground, quarter to us, just ready to pounce. Another fraction of a second of thought through that lion's brain, it would have been bad for that tracker. But
And how big do those lions get?
A big male trophy lion can reach 650 pounds. This particular lion was about 550. But it was fortunate, we were very fortunate that the tracker spotted that cat, because otherwise it would have been unfortunate for him. We would have had to have shot that lion off of that tracker.
Wow.
So yeah, it was a very interesting experience. One thing about a lion, well, when you hear him growl, it's a different noise like you never heard in your life. You always know you're hunting a cat, boy, and cats are very intelligent animals.
You said a leopard, a lion will kill one person,
But a leopard will kill or will wound everybody.
Will wound everybody. If we're 10 people in a group, a leopard is gonna get his claws on all 10 people. A lion will attack one and kill him. Leopard, 95% of the time, you're not gonna get killed by that leopard. He's gonna jack you up and destroy you with his claws, and he's gonna flee the scene.
Wow.
But yeah, it's all about protection with those cats. So if they think, you know, they're the king of the jungle until we come along. You know, we're the king of the jungle. And those cats, everything's instinctive. You know, those cats have instinct just like all animals do and we do as humans. But unfortunately, their instinct's a lot better than ours. So they can be very intelligent once it comes to, you know, hunting.
One thing that blows my mind, and I watch YouTube videos all the time, or Facebook or whatever, those lions will attack a zebra or whatever right next to a car. What's up with that? They're
So
not scared of
what's
humans at
going
all?
on there is they're in a national park. Those lions are so accustomed to seeing that traffic on a day-to-day basis, hundreds of people coming through on the regular.
That's just
In the African hunting areas, it's the opposite. If you see a lion and you're driving in your truck, that lion's gonna flee, he's gonna run. But it's just how you treat wildlife, you know. It's those animals aren't threatened in any way, those lions in those national parks. They know that, so they'll literally lay right next to the vehicles with no fear at all.
but they're wild.
They're wild as can be. If you step out of that vehicle, it's not good. You know, a lot of national parks inform you to keep that window up. While we were in Africa, a lady had gotten snatched out of the car because her window was down from a lion. And
Pulled her out the car?
pulled out of the car. And the one thing about that is when all these cars have their windows up and they're going by, that goes back to what I was saying. Cats are very intelligent. They're a very intelligent animal. So all of a sudden here comes a car with the window down. That cat obviously can
Knows
pick
what's
up on that. It's instinctive, you know, it's kicking in right there. And unfortunately for that young lady, she got pulled out of the car like that. But I wished everybody could get the African adventure, not even hunting, just seeing other parts of this world. You know, we're pretty spoiled here on the American side, and you know, unfortunately, we're not as thankful as some of other people are across the ocean, you know. But those people over there, they're good people. They love seeing us come through there, boy. They start shouting Yama. You know, when they see a hunter, they know it's time. They're gonna get their chance for meat, because all season long they've been living off their crops.
Wow.
So that's, whether it's maize or some kind of rice, those people are living off of one food source day in and day out. So when they see us coming, and if they're good people in that village, and the chief of the village isn't a crook, because what happens if I go shoot a Cape buffalo in Africa, well, so much of those funds will go to that village, and also that meat. The meat, every bit of the meat is going to that village. In the old days, you know, there's just so much poaching going on, and it still goes on. But fortunately, us hunters are keeping it alive.
Wow.
You know, without us being there, those animals aren't a resource for them anymore. That's just a
Nuisance.
yeah. They'll start poaching them, you know, and they'll snare everything in the African bush.
Wow.
With a piece of wire, you know, because everything has to live off of that water source. There's not man-made water pans, you know. You got the natural rivers, and naturally, when you're not in the rainy season, all the wildlife congregates to those water areas. So they'll have snares all up and down, and while you're hunting, you know, your trackers and your game scout, that's the government official, is always keeping his eyes peeled for tracks, you know, for other people's tracks, because when you see that, you know, it's an indicator, you know, something's going on.
Wow. All right, folks, today I'm here with Nick Terracina. He volunteered to come down, do a little cooking for us.
What you gonna show us today?
Today we're gonna cook, we've got some fresh mangrove snapper they caught today. So everybody kind of fries fish different. What I like to do is I'm gonna mix half Zatarain's fish fry, crispy southern, and I'm gonna mix that with some yellow cornmeal. Kind of like to go half and half on that. The cornmeal kind of gives it a little extra crispiness. And then to season my fish, I like to put a little bit mustard. That kind of helps it crisp up. I like to use Cajun Chef hot sauce and a little seasoned oil, and that's pretty much what we go with. That'll be good. And we're just gonna kind of mix that up, dip it in our batter, and go at it. Some beautiful fillets they caught today. They're the perfect size for frying.
In South Louisiana, we can always run out there. We catch speckled trout, we catch redfish, we catch red snapper, mangrove snapper. It's awesome. We never run out of food.
You never run out of food. And you can't beat fresh fish, nothing like it.
Fresh.
All right, when our grease is ready, we're gonna go ahead and drop them in. Also, when I fry my fish, I like to pat them down, get all the water off. That helps get them a lot crispier. And you never want to put too much in the grease, because then that will cool the grease off and they won't cook as well. I think we're good to go.
Ready to go.
All right, so we went about 5 minutes. We checked them. Perfectly golden brown, cooked to perfection. Let them dry off a little bit, and they're ready to go.
Now, what do you find the difference between red snapper and mangrove, Nick? You find a lot of difference? Mangrove's better?
I like the mangrove a little better.
I do too.
To me, it tastes a little sweeter, I guess, and a little milder. Probably one of my favorite fried fish.
No doubt.
There we go.
So ready to go with the fried fish part?
Let's see how that came out. Perfect.
Very good.
You can find this recipe and more at keeponcastingtv.com.
Good morning, welcome to Keep On Casting. We're here with Mr. Mike Mellison. He's the new admiral for the 2021 Guatemala Tarpon Rodeo. We had a little dinner last night, giving out some awards because they didn't have the tournament last year, and they gave out quite a few scholarships to different high school students going to college. And in there, some scholarships they give to like VOTEC students as well.
Yes, sir. We have some blue-collar scholarships that we give out that we help students with VOTEC training, or we buy tools and supplies and materials that they may need just to go straight into the workforce.
So we're heading out today on Chip Robinson's Freeman here, and we're gonna go try to catch a swordfish. I guess we'll get out there and see what happens.
Yeah,
you know?
I think we might catch a fish or two. So y'all stay tuned. We're gonna put a sword in the boat.
Hey, petit, hey, mignon, et tu connais mon chien mental. C'est Tigalo la passé, toi pour traverser. Ta maman, ton papa, oui, il crache une grande barrière.
So when I start putting out, put my tip rod out, and then once my tip rod's out and where I want to be, I'll start circling around to get back on top of the tip rod. When I do that, I start putting my buoy rod out. Whenever I go to hook my, put my baits on my rod, I put the boat in the drift to see what direction and how fast the current's going. I want to really see the direction and the speed, so I know where to set up at. Because I want to set up current or whatever spot I want to drift over.
So you're not looking for your bait to go down or up or side to side?
I don't really care. I mean, I'm not trying to set out with the current or anything like that. I just want to make sure that I'm going to be up current or where I want to be. We're gonna make another pass.
We're pulling up our baits over here. We thought that first bait got hit. It might have just, the swordfish might have just came up and hit the weight, because that wasn't too much damage to the bait. But he said that they're gonna take them out and switch them up and try some different baits. I know that this one's artificial and that one's some like swordfish belly or something. And look, you got a bill mark on that weight right there.
So that line's gonna be anchored over there now, right where you left it?
Yeah, it's gonna be away from the boat. So that line's still fishing while we got this one on. And then this fish, so that weight's pulling down on him, so he's swimming up the weight and makes that buoy lay over. So every now and then you'll get one that just takes the buoy underwater, but most of the time they come up to the surface with it. He's come up, say, hey, Bradley, get the harpoon out. Harpoon, it's under there. Yeah, that's good shit.
The fish hit it, the line with the buoy on it, and he started swimming up. And
but we reeled in for a good while before we even
to catch up the slack, and then it got tight. It loaded up is what we call it, and seems like it's a pretty decent fish. But it's really hard to tell till you get the front weight off. Once you get the weight off, then you can really size them up.
in there like some sort of percentage that once you get that front weight off, you got a lot of better chance of landing the fish, correct?
Yeah.
That's the first battle that you're trying to win.
Right. That's the chance of losing the fish is when you're going to take that weight off.
Gotcha.
So that's besides landing it, that's the trickiest part of fishing this style is to get that front weight off of that.
Right.
But this time we got it hooked pretty good.
Yeah, and we got Sam in the back getting a harpoon ready, so whenever the fish comes close to the boat, he can put a little dart in him. Well, the first thing we're doing right now, we're pulling the weight off so that we can get to the fish because the weight holds the. All right, so we got the weight off. Now it's just fish that we're fighting here. All right, coming up on the first weight. Yeah. Blue lights blinking. What do you think? Although you can see some color right here.
There he is.
Right in the gills.
Man, son.
All right. Perfect.
Oh, yeah. Well done, this.
Yes, indeed.
All right. Just bring him in here. Bring him in here.
Hey, we want to thank y'all for tuning in to another episode of Keep On Casting. We had a great day sword fishing today. We want to thank Mr. Chip Robinson for bringing us out on his boat, and Captain Sam. We stayed out there for a little while. It took us a little while to get a bite, but sure enough, the moon phase did us right once again. Made it out there, made it back for the shrimp ball at 2 o'clock, and it's nice to be able to make a timeline whenever you're fishing out in the Gulf, huh? We appreciate y'all and everything y'all did. We want to thank our troops for serving us, and until next time, keep on casting. Molam le pe do do, pi molam le za.